Imagine the year 1898. America and Spain are locked in the Spanish-American War, a conflict ignited by the sinking of the USS Maine in Havana Harbor, Cuba. But this war, it was about more than just a single event. It was about America's growing ambitions, its desire to extend its influence beyond its borders and join the ranks of global superpowers. Now picture the Treaty of Paris, signed on December 10th, 1898, a crucial piece of paper that marked the end of the Spanish-American War. But it did more than just cease hostilities. It reshaped the geopolitical landscape. Spain ceded Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines to the United States, marking America's first major overseas acquisitions. But why the Philippines, you may wonder? Well, the Philippines was seen as a stepping stone to the vast markets of Asia. Some Americans saw an opportunity for commercial expansion, a chance to tap into the wealth of the East. Others saw it as a moral obligation, a duty to spread American ideals of democracy and freedom to the far corners of the world. However, not everyone agreed. The decision to annex the Philippines was controversial. Many opposed the idea of colonial rule, arguing that it contradicted the very principles America was founded on. Yet the voices advocating for annexation were louder, fueled by fears that if they didn't claim the Philippines, another power like Germany or Japan might do so. And so, the stage was set for the United States to claim the Philippines as its own. Not everyone in America was thrilled about the idea of annexing the Philippines. This sentiment was pervasive across various strata of American society, fueling a heated debate that touched the very heart of the nation's principles. On one side of the argument, proponents touted the potential commercial benefits. The Philippines, with its strategic location in the Pacific, could serve as an advantageous foothold for the United States in lucrative Asian markets. This prospect of economic expansion was particularly appealing to the business sector. They saw the annexation as a golden ticket to a wealth of untapped resources and a gateway to a broader consumer base. However, the idea of colonial rule was met with vehement opposition from a significant portion of the American public. Critics argued that annexing the Philippines was contrary to the very ideals that the United States held dear. They believed that imposing colonial rule over the islands was a betrayal of the principles of self-determination and liberty, principles upon which the United States itself was built. This moral dilemma was further complicated by the fact that Filipino revolutionaries, under the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo, had already declared their independence. To many, it seemed hypocritical for a nation that had fought for its own freedom to deny another country the same right. The debate was fierce and impassioned, with both sides presenting compelling arguments, but in the grand scheme of things, the voices of opposition were ultimately drowned out by the drumbeats of imperialism. The decision was made, however, and the United States set its sights on the Philippines. Emilio Aguinaldo, a Filipino revolutionary, had other plans. With the Treaty of Paris granting the United States control over the Philippines, Aguinaldo was not about to let his homeland be taken without a fight. He rallied his compatriots and proclaimed the independence of the Philippines in June 1898. This bold move set the stage for what would become the Philippine American War. The war officially kicked off in February 1899 after a Filipino soldier was shot by an American sentry. This incident sparked a full-blown conflict that would last for 3 tumultuous years. At the onset, the Filipino troops, filled with a fiery spirit of nationalism, engaged the American forces in conventional warfare. They put up a valiant fight, but they were up against a formidable adversary. The United States had superior weaponry and a well-trained army, which posed a significant challenge to the Filipino revolutionaries, who were largely composed of ill-equipped and poorly trained volunteers. Despite their fervor and determination, the Filipino forces found themselves outmatched in the battlefield. Their traditional warfare tactics were ineffective against the American troops. This led to heavy Filipino casualties and a series of defeats. The dream of an independent Philippines seemed to be slipping out of their grasp as the American forces steadily gained ground. Yet, the Filipino revolutionaries were not deterred. They were fighting for their freedom, their homeland, and they were not about to give up easily. The initial setbacks in the war only strengthened their resolve. They knew they had to adapt and change their strategy if they were to stand a chance against the American forces. But the Filipino revolutionaries would not be easily defeated. They were about to shift tactics and embark on a new phase in the war, one that would test the mettle of both the Filipino and American forces in ways they could not have anticipated. Before we continue, remember to subscribe for more historical content. Don't miss out on unraveling the past with us. Now back to the story. The Filipinos switched tactics, turning to guerrilla warfare. As the initial conventional warfare proved ineffective against the American forces, the Filipino revolutionaries decided to change their approach. This marked the inception of the second phase of the Philippine American War. Facing a well-equipped and organized enemy, the Filipinos adopted a form of warfare that utilized their intimate knowledge of the local terrain and the support of the local population. Guerrilla warfare, a method of combat by which a smaller group of combatants uses mobile and flexible attack strategies, was the new tactic of choice. This unconventional style of warfare allowed the Filipinos to wage a war of attrition against the American forces, prolonging the conflict and wearing down the enemy. However, the shift to guerrilla warfare wasn't without its challenges. The Filipinos found themselves grappling with a dire lack of outside support. Most nations, reluctant to upset the United States, refrained from aiding the Filipino cause. This left the revolutionaries isolated on the global stage, forcing them to rely on their resources and resourcefulness. Another challenge was the shortage of weapons. The Filipinos were heavily outgunned by the American forces. They had to make do with outdated firearms, machetes, and homemade bombs. Yet these shortcomings didn't deter the Filipino revolutionaries. They used their limited resources to the maximum, employing hit-and-run tactics, ambushes, and sabotage to keep the enemy on its toes. Despite the odds, the Filipinos were determined to resist American control. Their resilience and resourcefulness in the face of adversity were a testament to their unwavering desire for independence. They may not have had the firepower of their adversaries, but they had something equally powerful: a purpose, a cause to fight for, and an unyielding spirit that refused to bow down to foreign rule. The United States had to change its strategy as well. Faced with a resilient Filipino resistance, the United States pivoted, implementing a policy of attraction. The aim was simple, yet strategic: to win over key Filipino elites, the influential figures who could sway the opinion of the masses. It was a game of chess, with each move calculated and precise. The United States established a colonial government, a structured administration that mirrored the systems back home. Its purpose was twofold. First, to administer the archipelago effectively, and second, to demonstrate to the Filipinos the benefits of American governance. It was a slow process, a dance of diplomacy and power that played out over years. In this dance, the United States made significant strides, gradually winning the hearts and minds of key Filipino elites. These influential figures, once staunch advocates for independence, started to see the benefits of alignment with the United States. They began to influence their communities, their words echoing in the halls of power and the streets alike. The transition was not seamless. There were bumps along the road, moments of tension, instances of resistance. Yet the United States persisted, firm in its belief that its approach would yield results, and gradually it did. In 1935, the United States granted the Philippines autonomy, a significant step towards independence. It was a milestone, a testament to the resilience of the Filipino people and the effectiveness of the American policy of attraction. And then, in 1946, after years of strategic moves and counter-moves, the Philippines finally gained its independence. It was a momentous occasion, a celebration of freedom and self-determination, the end of a chapter and the beginning of a new one. And so, after years of conflict and strife, the Philippines finally gained its independence. It was a victory hard-fought and well-deserved, a testament to the spirit of the Filipino people and the power of perseverance. The story of the United States invasion of the Philippines is a complex one. In the midst of controversy, the U.S. annexed the Philippines post the Spanish-American War. The resilience of the Filipinos was evident as they shifted to guerrilla warfare when conventional methods failed. Subscribe for more amazing content. Keep wondering. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.